Yeah, say hello to your friends. Yep. Okay. That's what we're doing now. Sure. Okay, bye. Why, hello there, endurance nerds. Question for you. If you're not waking up at 4 a.m., jumping into an ice bath, staring directly at the sun to jumpstart your circadian rhythm, followed by a 23-minute sauna session while listening to Andrew Huberman at 3 times speed, followed by 30 minutes of meditation, then how on earth do you expect to be a successful athlete? I'll wait. Of course, I'm being sarcastic. Shocking. I know.
Sure, Jan.
But there is a point to this, so buckle up for a bit of a rant. As endurance athletes, we are constantly bombarded with advice as to how to optimize every aspect of our lives, our training, our recovery, our nutrition, and pretty much everything in between. And while some of these tips are genuinely helpful, there is a danger into falling into that trap of over-optimization. Sure, we all want to be optimal. Who wouldn't want to perform at their best and have the most favorable outcomes in their races and training? But the problem arises when we just start optimizing for the sake of it, without a clear purpose or goal in mind. So let me introduce you to a fictional athlete. We're going to call him Tim. Tim's a cyclist that's been competing for a few years. He's pretty good. He holds his own in his local club, but he's starting to feel like he's plateaued. He wants to reach that next level, but he's not entirely sure how to get there. So he does what many of us do. He starts furiously searching the interwebs and dives headfirst into that world of optimization. Now, in a recent podcast, Tim learns about optimizing his circadian rhythm and the potential energy benefits. So he starts waking up early, getting sunlight first thing in the morning, and refining his morning routine. He feels a bit better, but it doesn't really lead to the performance breakthrough that he's been hoping for. Then he thinks, well, maybe it's my sleep. So he buys a sleep tracker, installs blackout curtains, and orders a $3,000 smart bed. Again, it helps a little, but it's not the game changer he imagined. Then he thinks, well, maybe I'm not getting enough out of my diet. So he builds a complex supplement regimen, taking dozens of pills and potions each week, and he notices a few differences here and there, but yet again, his performance numbers don't budge. Months of this go by, and Tim builds up a very long and very expensive list of habits and optimizations. Some of them have marginally improved his life, but many really haven't moved the needle, and he's performing about the same as he ever has. Despite all of his efforts, Tim still feels stuck. He's more optimized than ever, but he's also more dependent on the rituals and routines he's built. He's reached a point that if anything goes awry, like missing his morning supplements or not getting enough sunlight, his whole day feels off. The issue for Tim isn't the optimizations themselves. Many of them are beneficial. The problem is with the mindset. Tim doesn't have a clear goal in mind. He's optimizing for the sake of optimizing, hoping that the next tweak or hack will magically boost his performance, reignite his passion, and those successful opportunities will just simply present themselves. He's constantly preparing but never actually doing the work that matters. That extra hour he gets waking up early each morning isn't spent doing strength work or putting in extra miles. It's spent checking boxes on a routine list. Those supplements only go so far when he's eating takeout 4 to 5 days per week. His fancy nighttime gadgets improve the quality of his sleep when he actually gets to that point, but he's still eating less than an hour before bed and staying up later than he should, scrolling through social media. And this is where the real danger lies. Over-optimization can distract you from what's truly important. It's easy to get caught up in finding the perfect morning routine, the ideal supplement stack, or the best recovery gadgets. When we believe that we are a credit card swipe away from unlocking the panacea of human performance, it's very easy to myopically focus on those things. We can't move through the world for more than 5 minutes in today's society without being reminded and tempted by those trappings. But the truth is, no amount of optimization will replace the hard work that you have to put in. You absolutely cannot hack your way to success in endurance sport. The miles, the hours, the sweat, you have to put them in. So what's the solution? Well, it's not particularly complicated, and it's certainly not sexy. You have to start with a strong foundation. Imagine your training is a pyramid. Optimization sits at the very top. Most athletes try to skip straight to the peak because optimization is attractive and, quite frankly, fun. But here's the reality. Optimizations make little sense if you haven't built that solid base. This foundation consists of those pure fundamentals: consistent and well-periodized training, proper nutrition, and good sleep hygiene. These are the habits that will get you 80 to 90% of the way to your peak potential. Once these fundamentals are in place, then you can start thinking about optimizations. But even then, remember, the best optimizations are those that give you very high return on investment for little effort and ideally little cost. Don't get caught up into the latest trend because it's popular on social media or your favorite podcaster says it's a game changer. Use a filter to determine which of those optimizations will actually benefit your specific goals and solve a specific problem for you. I'm going to use vitamin D as a really good example of a high return optimization. Many people across the globe have some level of vitamin D deficiency, which can lead to low energy and other hormonal disruptions. And this is exacerbated in athletes who are putting a greater physiological strain on their bodies. Vitamin D supplements are generally safe, they're widely available, and they're generally inexpensive. It's a very low friction way to ensure that you're absorbing enough vitamin D without having to worry too much about getting excessive sun exposure or painstakingly selecting those right foods. It's not going to win you races, but it can make a noticeable difference in your energy and motivation to train hard. It's a very low-hanging fruit optimization that's pretty much a no-brainer. And in that vein, we should be thinking about all optimizations through the lens of something like the Pareto principle. Where is the small percentage of investment that will give us the lion's share of the impact? But here's a crucial point. Obsession will take you much farther than optimization ever will. Think about the greatest athletes. Many of them have not been the most optimized in terms of their routines or habits. Even full-time professional athletes, while they typically enjoy the resources and time to maximize their performance, nutrition, and recovery, you won't typically see them religiously attached to meticulously cultivated routines surrounded by potions, gizmos, and gadgets that subsume their days. They focus on those high-return habits and routines and repeat what's practical, sustainable, appealing, and most importantly, what actually works for them. What truly sets them apart is their obsession, their relentless drive to achieve their goals. They have organically learned to combine their obsession with smart optimization. Now, if you can effectively strike that balance, you can become unstoppable. But if you can only choose one, always, always, always pick obsession. Be obsessed with your goal, prioritize and amplify that which moves you toward your goals, and only seek optimization as a tool to help you get there, not as a crutch. You could consider something like a maximalist approach. Instead of chasing incremental improvements and the ever-elusive perfection, maximalists are going to focus on doing more, putting in more effort, more volume, more quality, more focus on recovery. They don't obsess over making everything hyper-optimized. Instead, they throw themselves into their training with relentless commitment. I want to be clear that we're not talking about indiscriminate overtraining or self-destruction here. We're talking about intelligently adding more in all of the key domains to move ever closer to achieving our genetic potential. Maximalists know that progress often comes from pushing through adversity, not from finding the perfect routine. While over-optimizers often try to avoid pain and discomfort through routines and hacks, maximalists embrace it, knowing that these challenges are where the real growth happens. With or without the maximalist approach, you have to do the hard things on purpose. If you're prone to over-optimization, fight against that tendency by deliberately doing hard and even inefficient things. Take on challenges that force you out of your comfort zone. Go for long and grueling rides in less than ideal conditions, or sign up for that race that pushes you to your limits. Training yourself to perform under suboptimal conditions builds that mental toughness and resilience, which are qualities that are crucial for endurance athletes. The point is not to avoid discomfort, but to embrace it as part of the journey. Finally, don't be afraid to shake things up. Periodically mess with your status quo. Try new things, even if they seem a bit out there. A new workout, cross-training in a different discipline, or training on terrain that's not perfectly fit for your phenotype. You might discover something that significantly enhances your performance. Lean into that exploration and be willing to do the work. Remember, success in endurance sport isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about doing the important things consistently and with purpose. So stop obsessing over the latest hack and start doing the work that really matters. Build your foundation, stay focused on your goals, and use optimization as a means to enhance your journey, not as the journey itself. But let me know, and be honest, are you an over-optimizer, or do you see the trappings of an over-optimization mindset out there? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget while you're down there, all the buttons, YouTubey stuff, and as always, I will catch you in the next one. See ya.